Hey guys, SK here, back with another Clash Royale video, and today is a wonderful day for all of us Xbow Cycle players, because in the most recent balance changes, 3.0 Xbow Cycle was finally buffed, and so after months and months of our cries for help, of terrible meta after terrible meta, Supercell finally heard us and delivered, and so we did get two buffs to the deck. This is the OG 3.0 Xbow Cycle deck, and so the first one is going to be Archers, and their hit speed was buffed by 9%, so it went from 1.2 seconds before to 1.1 seconds. This is kind of interesting because it's kind of similar to the nerf that the Tesla got last year, near the end of the year, where it got a 9% hit speed nerf. So this is kind of in contrast to that. But this is actually pretty nice because even though I've seen a lot of people say they don't actually notice the buff that much, I feel like it's going to impact a few specific changes more so than others, so it doesn't really change any interactions directly, but a faster hit speed means their DPS is overall faster, and so they're going to be better against any kind of sustained damaging period. So for example, against any kind of big tank like Lava Hound, Giant, or Golem, they're going to be damaging it down faster and better. Also against Swarm, it's going to be really nice because I've seen a lot of people actually say that Archers are better against Bats, noticeably better, and probably other kinds of Swarm like Goblin Gang, Minion Horde, stuff like that. And it is also going to be better against something like the Graveyard, when they were already pretty good, going to be an even better counter. So Archers received a buff, and it's really great because I actually kind of called for this buff a month and more ago, quite a few times actually, because I felt like 3.0 Xbow Cycle needed a buff for quite a while. You know, the deck's been really bad in the meta, and Xbow's only really been alive with the Archer Queen keeping it afloat. So I did call for Archers to get buffed, and this is the exact buff that I wanted, the hit speed, because you can't really buff their HP. I know a lot of you guys would like them to survive arrows, but that would just sadly make them way too overpowered, because arrows are the only spell that can take them out for an even elixir trade, and if they survived arrows, it would be really annoying. Like, imagine the Firecracker right now. It doesn't even die to anything except the arrows for an even trade, and people find it extremely annoying, so Archers would be in the same boat if you couldn't take it out. But even still, you know, non-arrows decks, it's going to be really great. The Archer's buff, and it's wonderful to see, so I'm really happy about it. Next up, we do have the Ice Spirit, which is interesting because, you know, 3.0 Xbow Cycle, or Xbow Cycle in general, has pretty much run Electro Spirit now for quite a few months because there's just no reason to run the Ice Spirit. And so Ice Spirit received a pretty big buff, actually. The freeze duration got a 30% buff from 1 second to 1.3 seconds. So this is actually pretty big as well. It doesn't really change any interactions, but it still is definitely going to be noticeable against any kind of bigger defense. So it's going to be great against any kind of beatdown kind of deck where it was already pretty good against. So for example, any kind of Lava Hound or Lava Balloon deck, Balloon Cycle, any kind of Giant deck, and Ram Rider Bridgespam, all of those kinds of things. Basically non-swarm, non-graveyard. Ice Spirit's going to be even better than ever against. And so these two buffs are pretty exciting. Honestly, I do understand a lot of you guys also want Xbow itself to be buffed, but sadly that isn't really feasible right now because Xbow with the Archer Queen is just so strong. It just wouldn't be fair to buff Xbow when it's already doing pretty well with Archer Queen. That being said, in the most recent ladder season, only one Xbow player finished top 100, as opposed to before where it was always at least 3 or 4, usually, maybe even 5. So actually that speaks about the deck's strength in and of itself, and maybe if the deck continues to be difficult, we could see a buff to Xbow in the future. But for now, I'm very much happy with these two buffs, and I really do like the changes. So today in the video, we're going to be playing some live ladder games with 3.0 Xbow Cycle, of course, with Ice Spirit, and we're going to be taking them for a test. I'm currently at 6,653 trophies, top 1,500 in the world, so hopefully if we get some wins, we will be getting higher up on ladder. And yeah, I have already played the deck a little bit myself, and I have noticed the Archer's buff is actually quite noticeable in some situations. I played against my friend in some friendly battles, and he mains Lava Hound, so Archer's actually pretty noticeable against Lava Hound, in my opinion. They won't be too noticeable against other cycle decks usually, but just remember, guys, a buff is a buff, and even if it doesn't seem too significant, you know, Archers were still buffed, and so that is something to be happy about instead of complaining. And Ice Spirit being buffed is interesting. I'm not sure if Xbow will switch to Ice Spirit or E-Spirit being better now that the Ice Spirit was buffed, but we will see, and we'll take it for a test today and see how it goes. So, all that being said, let me know what you guys think of the Xbow Cycle buffs in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoy the video, and let's get right into the matches. So looking for the first match here, and queue time I guess might take a little while. By the way, this new gem arena is actually really sick in my opinion. Like, it looks so cool with the minecart and the gems everywhere, and the tower skin is even pretty nice too. So we did find the first match against Nooper Lock 089. We'll give him the good luck. Go for an Ice Spirit at the bridge and see what's going on. So goes for Baby Dragon. I think I'll just go for a Knight. And look at that. That is definitely noticeable, the freeze. It stayed frozen for way longer. So Baby Dragon doesn't tell me too much. I guess I'm just going to split archers here and see what he wants to go for. Tombstone. So it looks like it might be a Splashyard or Graveyard kind of matchup. I think I will just log the Tombstone just in case it's going to be Lava Hound. He does go for a Skelly King in the back. So let's go for an Xbow opposite right away and apply some pressure. Goes for a Poison. Xbow is on tower, which is really nice. Goes for an Ice Wiz too. And so I think what I'm going to do is cycle to a Knight for the Skelly King. So I'm going to go for Ice Spirit and then Knight, then surround the Ice Wizard with my skeletons, and I will log this all back if I need to, just to avoid damage, and that's going to be a really nice damage lead. And so Ice Spirit is honestly very solid right now. Like, the only downsides of Ice Spirit usually are that it's worse against Graveyard and kind of bait troops, but with the buff, it might actually be better. And it's not bad against Graveyard anyways, it's just that E-Spirit offers another option against Graveyard decks. But he goes for a Tombstone in the back. I guess I will Fireball it, because I don't really want to split my archers when I know he has a Graveyard. He could go for a Graveyard push and kind of punish me, so we'll just take the Fireball value, and wow, so the Mirror comes in, and so that is one card that was buffed with the recent balance changes as well, the Mirror, and now, as you can see, it straight up gives +2 levels instead of +1, so actually a pretty big buff to the Mirror here. Gonna go archers for the Graveyard, and he's probably gonna poison them. But look at that, like, Archer's putting in a lot of work. We only took 1 skeleton hit so far, 2 skeleton hits, and the Graveyard was being tanked for the whole time. So Archers took out a tanked for Graveyard by themselves with only 1 skeleton getting a hit. But just going to go for an Expo push here, log the Ice Wiz back to maybe catch him off guard, and does get a Tombstone down just in time. But we're going to go for Ice Spirit Skellies for this here, and should be actually a pretty solid defense, making sure the Ice Spirit does hit the skeletons as well. I guess I will go for a Knight just because those Skellies were kind of threatening a bit, and I'm going to switch lanes now. Usually this is a pretty good fundamental against Graveyard in general, where you do kind of want to switch lanes and not let them get poison value in the lane where your tower is weaker. And wow, goes for a Mirror Baby Dragon. I'm going to go for a Knight, try and pull it into the Tesla, and then I think I do actually have to go for a set of archers here, and then even Tesla of my own, and log all this back. This is actually looking pretty bad though, not gonna lie. But we did cycle back to another set of archers. Hopefully they can help out just in time, as they do. But wow, level 16 Baby Dragon just going to work there on the tower. That is a fair amount of fireball value though, gonna take it in the right. And that wasn't the most optimal defense by me, being honest. But I think we're fine. Wow, he is really going to town with these level 16 Baby Dragons. But look at this Ice Spirit value, freezing everything. Gonna get a really nice login to take out the Skelly King skeletons as well. And if he poisons this, it'll be quite an overcommitment. I can then go for an Expo opposite. Either way, I'll probably go for an Expo opposite. Don't want to go same lane because of the fact that he does have a poison, and he actually just uses poison straight up there. He's gonna go Tesla, predicting the Baby Dragon. Goes for an Ice Wiz Skelly King. Gonna go for a Knight. And we do need to get this connection ASAP. He did also waste his poison right now, so if I get an Expo on tower, which I do get, he is going to be in a bit of trouble. So after you're going to Fireball this Baby Dragon back, cycling back to my Tesla, that is kind of a creative way to defend that. I didn't want to waste archers, because again, he does play Graveyard, and they are a good Graveyard response. But that is going to be GG. Really nice game-winning lock at the end there, punishing him for overcommitting with poison. But yeah, honestly, guys, in that match alone, already noticed quite a big change of Expo, because, or at least of these 2 cards, because archers, as I said, took out the fully tanked for Graveyard, and we only took 2 hits, so that is actually really impressive. I don't think any other card in the game could do that except maybe Skarmy or Guards or Minion Horde, maybe those swarmy troops, but still archers for only 3 elixir are amazing. And Ice Spirit, look at how much it froze everything, actually insane. Especially that one time when I had an Ice Spirit freezing both the Baby Dragons, level 14 and level 16 one, as well as the Skelly King. Really cool there, and that is going to be, I guess, a new meta experimentation with the Mirror in this Splashyard deck. But that's going to put us just barely above top 1k, so let's keep the ladder push going. And we're probably going to play at least 4 games or so today, just to try and get some nice games and test out the new buffs. But going to give the good luck into the next match, and Ice Spirit at the bridge to start out. I do usually recommend E-Spirit at the bridge first play with Xbow in general. Ice Spirit's even better because it does more damage than E-Spirit, by the way, by about 10%. Wow. Giant mini P.E.K.K.A first play, and he is laughing, I don't know why, when he did a really bad mini P.E.K.K.A and a really bad zap. I mean, he didn't even hit the skeletons. I don't know what that was. But I am actually just going to counter push with this. Goes for a heal spirit. That is also quite a catastrophic failure because the giant was already gone. But yeah, let's see if he goes for a Sparky here. He does. Gonna go Ice Spirit just to kind of freeze it for a little bit. And look at that freeze. 1.3 seconds taken off of the Sparky. Actually, I might be overreacting, but that is honestly just a wonderful feeling. And notice how I didn't overcommit to that because, yeah, I knew he was probably going to support this a little bit more. Gonna have to cycle back to some defenses, so Skellies to surround the Sparky. Then Archers are going to DPS down the Sparky. And he gets a pretty good Tornado in, but I think he will be low in Elixir after that. Because he did also play a mini P.E.K.K.A at the bridge. So, yep, I was right. Didn't have enough Elixir for a Giant there. So that was really nice. And goes for a Zap that leads to absolutely nowhere. So, yeah, that's basically going to be GG against Giant Sparky already. He might have Rage. He might have Fireball. Don't really... I guess it's going to be Fireball because the variant with Heal Spirit Fireball is usually the Agony King deck that does have big spells. Some Giant Sparky decks don't have any big spells. And, okay, splitting Archers was maybe a mistake, but it's actually totally fine because I can just go for a Knight. I think I want to cycle Knight first. Usually in these Xbow defenses, you want to cycle the card that you want to get back to first. So I want to get back to another Knight for this defense. So going to cycle a Knight first. Going to log on the Heal Spirit there. And then Ice Spirit to freeze up the Sparky. Okay, looks like I did unfortunately miss my Ice Spirit. But just going to go Skellies. And like I said, I am already back to a Knight. So I can just go for that on the Sparky. And Archers are doing a lot of work here against the mini P.E.K.K.A. He might go for a NATO here, so just going to log back. Yup, exactly. Did not want to mess around with any of those NATO plays. So just going for a log, making sure I take out the Sparky, even though it's an overcommitment, it's totally fine. Now going to go for a defensive Xbow because I really don't need Xbow on offense at all. I'd rather just try and defend this very safely. And so this is going to be a pretty big push we have to contend with, but I think we will be okay as long as we don't really mess up. So that's a lot of Fireball value. I'm actually going to take it right there, and Ice Spirit Freeze does a lot of work as well. Going to log this all back and then go for Skeletons to surround the Sparky. He did also waste his Zap just now, and no Tesla needed for that defense. I have a Tesla now, though, so going to go for it. And we are already back to another set of Archers, so notice how I'm defending this. I'm cycling multiple of my high-value defensive troops because I just want to defend that way, and that's going to be a real nice win. So, you know, we punished him right at the start. And honestly, Ice Spirit buff and Archer's buff weren't definitely noticeable in this match, I would say, because Archers helped out against the mini P.E.K.K.A, against the Giants a lot nicer. And Ice Spirit, that one interaction when I had the Sparky on my Xbow, I froze it for a bit, and that extra 0.3 seconds did get me at least one more Xbow shot. So definitely noticeable, and wonderful changes here. And that is going to put us at top 1,000 in the entire world. So pretty nice, 847, even though it is early season. You know, really nice games, and let's keep it going, I guess. No reason not to. Find the match right away against Krusty from Rocket. It's going to give him the good luck. And Ice Spirit at the bridge. Now, E-Spirit is usually a bit better than Ice Spirit at the bridge because they are more inclined to not ignore it. Or I guess they're less inclined to ignore it because they might get a King activation out of it. And, okay, looks like this might be a Royal Hogs Earthquake matchup. No, it's going to be... Okay, I don't know what Skeleton's Mega Minion Fire Spirit is going to be, actually. I guess I'll just go for a Tesla, though. Because usually Fire Spirit Skeletons tells me it's going to be some kind of Earthquake deck. Goes for a Golden Knight. Okay, I do want to Expo opposite, but I really don't know what he has. And I already committed my Tesla, so let's just chill out for a bit and defend. Gonna go for a Knight up high. Golden Knight, another card that was buffed, by the way, and actually pretty annoying. Wow, gets a pretty nice dash, and gonna Ice Spirit to retarget it. Nice, because I definitely don't want that dashing on my tower. And this should take out the Golden Knight pretty nicely. Then I can go for Expo opposite, and I'm going to be pretty aggressive with Archers to predict his building. Yup, Tesla comes down. It's a really nice prediction, and he's forced to poison, but that is going to be a connection on tower. So I guess I'll just go for a Knight here to try and deny damage, but that's going to be connection. I guess I could have committed even more to the Miter. Like, I could have logged it earlier to get even more out of my Expo. I think I should have done that, actually. But anyways, we're going to be up against Minor Poison Control, and sadly, guys, this is going to be a pretty hard matchup. Back in the day, when Golden Knight was, before it was nerfed, this is actually a pretty decent matchup for Expo, simply because of the Golden Knight glitch. Now, obviously, Golden Knight is not glitched at all, so it doesn't really pose any kind of threat. And he goes for a Mega Minion in the back. I think I will just go for a high Tesla just to kind of get a Tesla on the field and do some crowd control against possibly a Golden Knight. Yep, goes for Golden Knight. So I think I will go for Xbow and then Archers again, opposite. Goes for a Miner. Actually, that's not that good. He's probably going to poison on this. Yeah, poisons on my Xbow as well. But Ice Spirit will freeze up this Golden Knight pretty nicely. And I can go for Skeletons just to kind of stall out this Mega Minion a bit. And that's going to be a nice connection. Now, I don't want to overcommit with my Knight because of the fact that I don't want to go same lane as him. And look at that Knight trick, by the way. Retargeting the Miner off of my tower and logging that. And then going to go for Xbow plus Tesla because he might Tesla of zone. Goes for a Golden Knight instead. That's fine. I do have... He's probably going to dash. Yep, he does. I do have an Ice Spirit here. And, okay, sadly didn't get too much value, but just going to split Archers, and we are back to another Xbow in one card here. So I will, okay, I'm going to log the Fire Spirit. Definitely cannot afford to take any kind of Fire Spirit damage. I'm going to Xbow again. I think we did outcycle the Golden Knight by one card. So, and he is getting these unfortunate poisons down. So like I said, we can't really do anything about these poisons, unfortunately. But goes for a Tesla anyways. I guess I'm just going to commit to it and cycle back to another Xbow and go in right away. Because I feel like that was a bit of an overcommitment by him. He does not have Golden Knight back in cycle either. Yep, he has to go for a Miner. Xbow is on tower. Now I'm going to do what I said. Look at that Ice Spirit freeze, by the way. Absolutely huge. Going to go for a Knight in front to block against the Mega Minion. That should actually be game pretty much. I'm going to go for an Ice Spirit. And now I kind of have to let this die. We're just going to go for a low Tesla, letting it die. And yeah, that's going to be game because I don't think Fireball Log does enough. But definitely 2 Fireballs and Logs will do enough. So going to log this Miner back. Then going to go for the first Fireball. If he wants to Spell Cycle, I can definitely Spell Cycle back. And that is going to be GG. So let's see if he just lets us take it with this Ice Spirit at the bridge. Otherwise, we'll just cycle back to a Fireball. But yeah, GG. Going to give him the well played as well. Because he didn't play too badly, honestly. I think I just played pretty well by outcycling his counters. And also by capitalizing on that one Tesla overcommitment. He did have Delivery, which is really nice actually, because Delivery is a card that is usually pretty good against most cards in the game, except for Xbow, because we play on our side. What good is a Delivery going to do for 3 Elixir? There's really no point. But that's going to put me at 620 in the world. Actually off to a really nice start. Flawless win so far. And yeah, I hope you guys understood what I did with that matchup there, where I kind of went opposite lane. Don't ever want to go same lane against Mine or Poison. And also just didn't really overcommit to Xbows until the moment was right. And the Ice Spirit buff was absolutely noticeable in that, because that one Xbow connection where I got the Ice Spirit to freeze on the Miner, 1.3 seconds of a frozen Miner leads to at least 3 or 4 more Xbow hits on tower. Plus I could react faster, or had more time to react with my Skeleton. It's just overall a really nice, wonderful change to the Ice Spirit. And I think I will actually be using it more often, because it is definitely noticeable so far. Let's just collect our past Royale rewards, and I think we're going to keep going after this. Wow, I do get a Legendary. I don't know why, but I always get Legendaries from these past Royale golden chests. I really don't know why, but it's pretty cool, I guess, because it's free value. But yeah, off to a really nice start. Let's keep it going, getting some really nice games, and so far, every single match we've played, Ice Spirit has been better in. So matches where it wouldn't be better in, I would say, are like Log Bait, or maybe an Xbow Mirror match. You would rather have E-Spirit, of course. Goes for a Ghost. I'll just go for a Knight. And Ghost could be Mega Knight, Ram Rider, Lightning. Could also be P.E.K.K.A. Mega Knight and Ram Rider were both nerfed, by the way, so might not be that deck. I guess I will Tesla. And wow, goes for a Magic Archer. I guess I'll just Fireball it, and then Ice Spirit to pull this Bandit into the Tesla. And this should also be another case of noticeable buff. Yep, look, the Bandit was frozen while the Tesla got another hit in. I'm pretty sure before the buff, Bandit would have walked up or at least dashed a bit, so that is actually definitely noticeable, and I know I'm talking about it a lot, but I really do like this Ice Spirit buff. It's actually really nice. Like, I'm not even trying to exaggerate. I'm actually noticing it a lot, and it's great. Now I can just go for Skeletons for this Battle Ram, because he did already commit his Zap, so he can't zap those, so just going to log back. I guess I should have logged first while it was in the Ram stage, but that's still fine. Then I'm going to go for a Knight for this Ghost, and for this Bandit, I guess I have to cycle back to my Archers. He might also try and Magic Archer snipe my Knight, as he does. He does get a pretty nice connection in, but I'll just go for Archers, and sadly Bandit does dash, so I have to go Ice Spirit too, but Ice Spirit will do a great job at freezing it up for a while. And Ewaz comes out. He might Battle Ram in front of this. Yeah, that would be a pretty good play. Gonna log it back, I think, to keep the Battle Ram alive, or keep the Tesla alive, rather. And hopefully it targets the Ewaz. No, it does not, sadly. So I actually take quite a bit of damage there, but this is still okay. Not going to panic or anything, you know, I've just had some pretty bad micro at the start, and also a bit unlucky with starting hand against his bandit pushes, but still we should be totally fine, as long as I don't overcommit. I feel like I'm down a little bit of elixir right now, because he went for that ghost and I wasn't full elixir, so I'm still going to sit back and relax. Goes for a bandit. He might do the same magic archer play again. If he does, I will definitely go for archers and then Xbow right away to try and punish him. Sadly, double elixir is here, so it doesn't actually work out the way I wanted it to. And I think I have to log the magic archer and then pull this P.E.K.K.A in with my Ice Spirit. Ice Spirit freeze, doing a lot of work, doing God's work right there. And I think I will just kind of let that go. Gonna go for a knight, and then I think I will Xbow opposite, especially because he might magic archer on this. No, he doesn't, but he should not be back to P.E.K.K.A. Yep, he's at least one card away. So goes for an E-Wiz. I will just go archers. Probably gonna P.E.K.K.A in front. Yep. So he might zap here. Gonna go Skellies, and then Ice Spirit Knight for the bandit. And just like that, we are back in the game. But he might magic archer on this knight now. No, he doesn't actually. So that's totally fine. Just gonna go Skellies and then log, and then Ice Spirit on this ghost. And pulling it opposite lane, pretty cool trick you can do, especially because I knew he was going to push, so I can now go for a knight, and it will help out against both the ghost and the bandit, as well as the fact that I can go for Tesla, and okay, I actually misplaced my Tesla. That is a pretty bad mistake. So this game I'm not playing very clean, honestly, but we are still in the lead in spite of that, but definitely have to chill out now. Gonna go Ice Spirit at the bridge. If he doesn't respond, it's actually going to hit tower, I'm pretty sure. Goes for a P.E.K.K.A, yeah, so P.E.K.K.A gets forced out, and I can just go for a Tesla here, and now we want to be careful of magic archer. Sniping everything, so I'll just go for low archers and then log on all of that. He's being pretty aggressive with his fireballs actually, so not bad for me actually. Gonna just fireball the magic archer, gonna let the bandit dash onto the Tesla and then go for my knight, and then archers up high I think I have to, and Skellies as well actually. So I think I'm actually down quite a bit after that sequence as well. Yeah, not the best to be honest, but just gonna Ice Spirit again and then knight. And always on the lookout for magic archer snipes. Goes for P.E.K.K.A, so he is actually punishing pretty well right now, but I still think we'll be totally fine if we just defend and don't panic or anything. Just gonna low-key cycle logs and fireball the magic archer straight away. Skellies for the P.E.K.K.A, then knight separated from the Skellies for the Royal Ghost. And that is quite a lot of log value, so I'm more than happy to take it. Bandit unfortunately does dash onto my tower, but he just uses fireball actually, so I'm going to defensive Xbow. Does not have fireball and cycle for this next Xbow, and now we're just playing full defense basically. So going to go for a knight here and log on this battle ram back, and then go for archers down low. Yep, he fireballs, so I think we have to cycle back to, okay, he's going for a bandit. I just have to play a pretty awkward Tesla here, kind of sucks, but Ice Spirit should freeze all of that actually. Yep. And wow, somehow the magic archer did not get targeted by the tower, but even still, magic archer at the bridge, kind of a desperation play. Just going to Tesla and then fireball the tower, and that is going to be a very nice win. Let's just cycle back to another log, just in case. But yeah, that's going to be a great win against P.E.K.K.A Bridgespam, and I apologize I didn't play perfectly, honestly. I kind of made a few micro mistakes here and there, but generally, you still saw the game plan. I didn't want to overcommit against it, and I definitely just sat back and picked my spots, and then when I went for the Xbow, he didn't have enough for the P.E.K.K.A. I outcycled it, and that was a really nice win again. So this matchup, I would say archers do help out the buff against the P.E.K.K.A, but against anything else is probably not noticeable. But Ice Spirit as well, definitely noticeable here. So all these matchups so far, getting kind of lucky, except Graveyard, I guess. But, I mean, Graveyard archers were buffed, so it does kind of offset that. Plus, Graveyard was nerfed as well, by the way. The Graveyard itself was nerfed. It has one less skeleton now, with 14 skeletons, or one less skeleton. No, I don't know the number. Duration was also decreased, by the way. I think it used to be 10 seconds, now it's 9.5. And this matchup, definitely, the buffs helped out on both fronts, this one as well, and P.E.K.K.A Bridgespam. Pretty nice, and that is going to put me at top 500 in the entire world. I think I might go for one more, because I'm on a pretty good win streak, and honestly that's not always the best time to play, because you could lose and kind of tilt. But just for the video's sake, we've already had some pretty nice wins, and it would be 6,800 trophies, which is probably going to be top 400, so let's keep it going. Try and get one final nice win to close out the video, And yeah, I hope you guys have been enjoying so far, you know, me testing out the newly buffed 3.0 Xbow cycle. I think it's amazing. And okay, we are in a match against Planet. This is going to be a really good pro player, actually, so this might be a hard match. I believe he usually plays the Viper deck, but he could be testing out different decks. Yep, he's going to go Hog, so I think it is going to be the Viper deck, and Archer buff should help in this matchup, I think. Ice Spirit buff should help as well, actually, so this should be a decent matchup, and I think I always want to go opposite lane in this matchup. So I'm going to go Ice Spirit opposite instead of same. He's probably going to go for Goblins. Nope, goes for a Valk, I'll just go for a Knight. And yeah, so he plays Viper's deck, which if you guys don't know is going to be Hog, Eggsy, Nado. Pretty high skill deck, to be honest. Goes for an Executioner up high. Just going to snipe with Archers, I think. He might get a Tornado in to take them out. Going to log the Eggsy back as well. And unfortunately, it does take out my Archers. Just going to go Skellies off to the side. Goes for a Prediction log, which is actually pretty aggressive. And Ice Spirit buff, look at that. All the Goblins were frozen for eternity. That was really great. Now just going to reset with a high Tesla, I think, anticipating his next Hog Rider. Because there's no real reason not to. Yeah, goes for a Hog, and we are fine. I think he doesn't have Eggsy in cycle, so I can probably just go for an Xbow here, and he's probably going to be forced to Rocket. No, actually goes for a Valk. Gonna go Knight, and I guess he's going to Rocket now. Nope, goes for an Executioner instead. I think I will log this all back. He's putting the Ice Spirit buff to good use there, and wow, sadly the Executioner does kind of snipe out my Xbow, so actually pretty well played by him. Gonna go Skellies off to the side to kind of kite those Goblins a little bit, and I think I have to eat those. There's no point overcommitting with Archers, because that would be really bad, I think. And if you went for a Hog right away, it wouldn't have had enough Elixir. But still, you know, it's not the end of the world. We're only down 100 damage. And this isn't the worst matchup, so I guess I'll split Archers this time. And then Tesla, like, going Tesla would have probably been better, because he was probably going to Hog, but, I mean, he already did it last time, so I was thinking he might switch up his game plan. But I guess I will Expo now with this one Archer. Let's see if he wants to do the same kind of Valk Executioner play as he does, so I'm actually just going to Fireball and then log it all as well. And Ice Spirit here to hopefully help a little bit. Does freeze, doesn't freeze anything, but actually does freeze his Ice Spirit, and we do get a connection for that, so really nice. Gonna go for a high Tesla here, again predicting the Hog, and yeah, pretty nice. Then gonna go for an Expo, I think he might predict this. Nope, goes for a Valk in the back actually, so definitely gonna go Knight. Yep, he went for a Eggsy, because Valk wasn't in range in time, so just gonna log it all back. And I don't think he wants to Rocket right now. Okay, he does actually Rocket. I was totally wrong. But Archer should take out the Valk without much assistance needed, and I can cycle back to another Expo. I don't want to go for it right away though, because he might Hog opposite, which would be a pretty good play. Just going to Fireball Tower instead, actually. Yeah, it goes for a Hog, plus Goblins, I guess predicting my Expo. So really glad I didn't Expo, actually. That Fireball was really good, because it kind of shut down his Hog initiative. He obviously predicted. Now goes for a Nado, a Rocket. Now he might predict my Expo. So I'm actually just going to wait until I Expo and then go for an Expo now. Then Knight in front. Goes for a Valk, and he's going to Eggsy as well. So going to Fireball again. Definitely the best play. Fireballing both. Very high value on the Fireball there. And goes for Goblins. Going to log it back right away. And I think he won't. He does have Hog. Going to go Tesla. And he might have to Tornado here, because otherwise that's going to be a connection. Yeah, he doesn't Tornado, so that's going to be another connection. Just punishing his Rocket overcommit, basically. And I think I want to Expo right away once again, because, okay, he actually predicts me that time. I sadly do have to let it go. That was actually pretty well played. But we are just going to go for a high Knight, I think. Yeah, I thought he might go for some kind of Nado, so I wanted to kind of separate my Archers from my Knight. Looks like it didn't really work out too well, but just going to log this Eggsy. Still hovering Tesla with my other finger, and then he goes for the Hog push. So Ice Spirit here doing a lot of work. Look at that, freezing everything up. And gonna go Expo. He might predict this. Wow, goes for a Rocket. Pretty aggressive, actually. Gonna Knight up high. Definitely gonna Fireball the Valk, because we kind of need this connection. And then Archers as well. Gonna log the Executioner. We do need all the damage we can get, because he literally just Rocketed nothing. We can't let him get away with that for no reason. So gonna Knight as well for these Goblins. And then sadly, Hog does get a hit on the tower. But we are gonna have to keep up the pressure, I think. So gonna go Archers, and then Expo in the middle, because Executioner was the place to predict. Gonna go Ice Spirit off to the side, and then Knight as well. Skellies for the Hog. And I think, okay, Hog goes this lane, which is really good for me, actually. Gonna Expo for sure. Goes for a Rocket. Gonna Archers to predict whatever he plays. Fireball, and we can't let him Rocket again. We have to get another connection here, if possible. Or get another Rocket, or get another Fireball down, I mean. So let's go for the Fireball. And yeah, it looks like we did walk away with the win, so that's going to be GG. A really nice win there against Planet, one of the best Hog Exinado players in the world, actually. Going to give him the well played as well, because that was a pretty close game. You know, he was rocket cycling, and he almost got away with it. But against those kind of players, you just cannot let them get away with that kind of play. Too aggressive, honestly. And you do have an Xbow, so you have to use it. But Executioner Valk are so beefy now, honestly. Like, especially the Exi after its most recent HP buff. Doesn't do much damage, but just survives for so long. But against Exi Valk, that's a lot of fireball value. I think it's good to take it. And Valk was nerfed with his HP slightly, so yeah. But one thing I really want you to pay attention to was when I fireballed his Valkyries. Instead of going like Xbow Tesla at the bridge, I fireballed the Valks instead to get tower damage and match him, instead of just going kind of mindlessly Xbow Tesla at the bridge for no reason. But yeah, that is going to be a really great push, guys, and that is going to put me at 6,800 trophies, top 361 in the entire world. Really nice start to the season for me. I don't really push ladder very often, but this is a great start. This is earlier than I play by like 2 or 3 weeks usually. I only play at like the last week of the season. But yeah, really great start, and I think really great video to showcase the new buffs. I mean, even that matchup, honestly, Ice Spirit buff was definitely noticeable. Even on his end, his Ice Spirit got some value as well. But yeah, you know, all of these other matches definitely showcased the buff in great depth, I think, to both these cards, and I hope you guys realize that as much as people like to be negative and complain, these buffs were definitely noticeable. You know, I've saw someone say, who cares about Archer buff if they die to arrows anyways, and that is true, but you're not always going to play against arrows. Like for me today, I don't think I played against a single arrows in this ladder push, and all of these are relatively meta decks. I mean, Splashyard has been meta for a while. Giant Sparky, not very meta, but it is a deck that I recognize. It's not like it's an off-meta deck either. This deck is kind of off meta, but it was meta like last month or last year, in the last few months of the season, in the last few months of the year in CRL as well. This Gold Knight Miner Poison deck, P.E.K.K.A Bridgespam, very classic meta deck, and Viper's deck. Not a lot of people play it as well, but I hope this showed you guys, if anyone was interested, in how to play against this matchup as well. Against, like I said, one of the best players in the world. Look at his profile. You know, top 1 of 4 best finish, and 539 previous season. And he has a lot of finishes. He has Valkyrie maxed as well at Mastery Level 7. I don't think I have any Mastery Level maxed because I don't really play too often these days. My Masteries are like, yeah, they're Level 2 or so on this account. And on my other main account, let me check, on Legendary Pop, they should be around Level 3 to 4. Yeah, I have Level 4 Scale, Use Log, Tesla, the rest are about Level 3. So yeah, not too big on masteries, but yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. You know, top 361 with Xbow, really great. 3.0, really love to have this being back, honestly. The OG deck, great feeling, and I really am thankful that Supercell finally did something, because the meta's been terrible for Xbow for so long, honestly, and Queen is the only saving grace. So I told you guys, I said about a month ago or more, I think Archers needed a buff. And the reason I said that is because, again, like I said, Xbow can't really be buffed when Archer Queen is so good in it. But you can buff other Xbow decks, and Icebow wasn't too bad either, because Icebow beat Royal Hog's Earthquake a lot of the time if the Icebow player played well. So Icebow wasn't bad in the meta. 3.0 was really bad in the meta, though, and so I'm really grateful to see they're giving it some love. But I do think we are in for a rough season, honestly, because the meta right now is a lot of mirror decks, and Earthquake as well, and Earthquake was not nerfed at all. So you can see here, you know, Hog Earthquake number 3 in the world, mirror decks all over the place as well, all sorts of crazy decks. But if we just take a look here, P.E.K.K.A, Golem is a really hard match, Hog EQ, yeah, Hog EQ's been amazing, Royal Hog's Earthquake's been amazing too, so good in the meta and so frequent, so hopefully it's not too bad for us. The meta will be hard, but at least the deck got a buff, right? And worst case, if Xbow still seems to be really bad, they could look into some kind of buff for the Xbow maybe. I think everything else is balanced. Tesla, in no way can anyone call it overpowered anymore, because it's very much just a very balanced, even card. You know, everyone is running Cannon right now. No one plays Tesla in all the Hog decks and all the Royal Hog decks and all those cycle decks. So Tesla is just very much an average and balanced card, not overpowered anymore, with only 30-second lifetime. Fireball is very good in the meta, actually, but I don't think it needs a nerf. I think it's just really good. Log as well. Knight is definitely balanced. Skeletons are a bit on the strong side, actually. But yeah, these two cards were probably the main ones that could use a buff, and we got it. So yeah, that's going to be the video, though, guys. That's going to be our first look at 3.0 Xbow Cycle after the buffs. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope I was able to show you some of the merits of the buffs. And yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. Feel free to give it a shot yourself and let me know what you think about new and improved Xbow Cycle. I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care. Now we'll see you in the next one.